No.
3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to Voluble Nerds, the podcast where we talk about the topics that matters to us. My name is Jeremiah, and my co-podcaster is Andy. And what we're going to talk about today is just to introduce ourselves and let you know about who we are and what we plan to talk about in our podcasts. First of all, my name is Jeremiah, and to kind of introduce both of us a little bit, if anybody knows us personally, they will know that Andy and I both have varying degrees of disability. We both have cerebral palsy. My disability with cerebral palsy is on the mild side, where I have trouble with small motor skills on the right side of my body, and I'm deaf in my left ear since birth. Andy has disabilities in terms of he has a more severe case of cerebral palsy where he's not able to walk, so he gets around in a wheelchair. He has some motor skills where he's able to play video games like I can, although he does kick my ass a lot.
I do.
A lot, especially in fighting games. He always kicks my ass. And he also, as you can tell, has a speech impediment. So because of that fact, one of the things that we're going to do is, as Andy is speaking, I'm going to try and interpret what he's saying so that the audience can hear what his views and everything, just so that Andy also has a voice here on the podcast. So Andy, I think what would be a good idea now is to kind of talk about some of the things that we like and interest us. So go ahead and tell us what you like. What are some of the things you like?
Well, I was born a geek from day one.
He was born a geek from day one, guys. Straight out of the womb.
Pretty much. Because when you are a disabled child, you can do much more in media.
So when you're growing up as a disabled child, the only things you can really do is engross yourself in geeky media, like books, video games. Andy and I grew to love heavy metal together, and a lot of different genres of rock too, but a lot of it is heavy metal, bluesy rock, classic rock. You know, we tend to like that kind of stuff. From time to time in our podcast, we'll probably talk about album reviews in a sense, excuse me. So for me, I like a lot of the same things that Andy likes in terms of comic books. I love both DC and Marvel.
I like Marvel. I like IDW. Dark Horse.
Andy also likes IDW, Dark Horse, which actually IDW, I love Spawn. So there's been some interesting comics from Dark Horse as well. Like, for example, what's one of your favorite from Dark Horse?
I am like IDW than Dark Horse.
You tend to like IDW more than Dark Horse? Okay, alright.
Comics from IDW is really good.
The Transformers comics from IDW is really good. Andy likes that. I've read some of those too, and I've got some enjoyment out of them too. It's always interesting when you can see your childhood cartoon heroes be reimagined in a new comic book or whatever. You know, it's actually fun. Yeah, and so I think the next logical thing for us to talk about and to let you guys know is what we're going to be doing on our podcast. So Andy and I kind of came together a couple of weeks ago or so.
It was my idea.
It was Andy's idea, first of all, and wanted to just kind of try it out. You know, both of us have listened to podcasts, different varying podcasts, like Joe Rogan, for one. I like to listen to all different kinds of podcasts about interesting topics, anything from like interesting scientific topics, finding out how things work, to talking about comic books, video games, and all that kind of stuff. So basically, what we're going to try to do is we're going to keep the podcast. Each episode of the podcast is, loosely structured, where there's going to be some structure, but we're going to try to have a free-form conversation. And we're going to have one topic a week, and if there are things that you want us to talk about or you have great ideas to get us started on topics, you can email us at volublenerds@gmail.com, which is VOLUBLE nerds@gmail.com.
I will update hopefully the reflect
Andy's going to update the overlay by next episode so that we'll be able to make sure we have access to that, and make sure that we are looking at your topics that you're sending us and suggestions. So yeah, basically, we're going to try to keep it a free-form conversation, try to keep it entertaining as much as possible. And, we're not any kind of celebrities. We're just two guys talking about something that we find interesting. And eventually, if we get to a point where we're getting great at making the podcast, we're going to possibly set up a Patreon site where basically, if you become a fan of what we do, you can throw us some money to help us improve our podcast show. If that's something that interests you. So anything else you want to add, Andy?
We could let them know what will be happening in the next couple of weeks. Like me coming back away home, and you will be coming over, and we'll do some mini episodes.
Yeah, so this episode right here is just basically our introduction episode, and what Andy was letting me know that we should let you guys know is that in the next couple weeks, we will be getting together and working on the podcast, and that way the episodes in the coming future will be a little bit more meaty in terms of content, in terms of the topic, really talking more in depth about stuff. And, if it's a certain topic that we have to research, and then that way we can discuss them more, that we'll get better and better with the podcast, and hopefully you guys will enjoy it.
The real episode will be in 3 weeks.
Yeah, so the first real episode, it will be available in about 3 or 4 weeks.
By the meantime, we will do mini episodes.
In the meantime, we will do some episodes until we can really get our
mini episodes.
Meaty episodes?
Small.
Oh, mini episodes. See? Sometimes that's why I need to just take it slow and just listen to what he's trying to tell me. So that he doesn't knock me over the head with a club or something. Anyway. So we'll be making some mini episodes up until like our real official episode, and That would
because I will be with my parents for a few weeks. I won't have my equipment with me.
So he'll be with his parents at that time, and he'll have his equipment with him. And that the reason why it's going to take 3 or 4 weeks is because it will give me and Andy the opportunity to work together face to face. Andy right now is in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm in Casaqua, Pennsylvania, which is like a 5-hour difference in area here. So we haven't been able to see each other face to face, but we'll be able to work on content more intensely once we're able to meet up. So again, just remember, we're going to try to keep the podcast casual in terms of, we want the podcast to be accessible for a lot of
fun. Fun.
And fun and entertaining. So, everybody can listen out. That's all from me. Really want to thank everybody who decided to listen to us, and just thank you very much.
Yeah, it came with me. Thank you for this. I hope I come across well in recording.
Andy says the same thing. He says thank you to everybody who has decided to listen to us, and he hopes that he comes across clear in the recordings so that everybody can have a good time listening to our podcast. So thank you very much on behalf of Andy. Thank you, and have a good night.